Hi guys, beginning of March, and I get sent a new Shimano MX04 bike a few weeks ago, and was out in it in the rain the first day I got it. Since then I've not had a chance to go out on the bike, so today is the first chance. I've fully charged the battery, and you know, I've just got out the house. So first time on rough tracks. Previously I just went along the road. Unlike the MX03 which I've got, it doesn't have the rear suspension, and it's got only a 500 watt Bafang motor, and 3-inch tyres rather than the 4-inch tyres, and there's no suspension at the back. The battery is internal, as I mentioned before, and this is the bike. So I'm just going to pan around just to give you an idea of what the bike looks like. Okay. Okay, so we're going along these tracks here, which are pretty rough and bumpy, which were great in my other bike. It's been fine in this actually, even though it's got smaller tyres and no suspension. So I'm going to put it onto the head cam mode, and I'm going to test it in some of the inclines and some of the slopes I tested the other bikes on. What I've actually found so far is that despite it only having a 500 watt Bafang motor, that the power is actually more progressive, and it seems to have more torque than the Shimano MX03, which supposedly is a 1000 watt motor. So despite it on paper looking less powerful, the motor actually appears to be certainly as good as the 1000 watt motor, if not slightly better, with torque going uphill. So I'm going to go over some undulating ground and then go to a very steep hill that in my other bike I'm in first gear and at full power assistance, and it's it's quite hard work to get up it. I get up it, but it's still quite hard work. Okay, but this bike so far I've found that actually I can get up it easier, less pedaling compared to the 1000 watt motor. So that's really good news, because all the new bikes apparently are going to be coming with this 500 watt Bafang motor. So don't be worried that a 500 watt motor isn't as powerful as a 1000 watt motor. From my test so far, this motor, even though it looks a lot smaller and it's only 500 watts as opposed to 1000, seems to perform as well or even better, certainly for torque. I'm not sure about top speed, but I'm not too worried about that. I'll test that later on. Okay, so I'm going to put this on head cam mode shortly. Okay, so I'm going to go along the same route I did with the MX03 in November a year or so ago, and well, the previous year. So I'll give you an idea. If you look at that video, you can compare how I felt about the bike, the MX03, compared to the MX04. Okay guys, it's certainly a lot lighter, the bike, and lower. It feels an awful lot smaller compared to the other bike, the MX03. I've got a throttle here, so that's the throttle there. Horn, oh no, that's the gears. Horn, where's the horn? Oh yeah. So right, I'm going to just set off. I'm going to just try it on the throttle here, on power assistance 1 here, and in second gear. So that's just in throttle. Okay, it's a thumb throttle, which I find slightly more difficult to use in the rough ground because of the bumping about, but it was fairly straightforward on the road the other day. So it's just a matter of getting used to it. So I'm just using throttle along here and going up little hills, so fairly easy. I'm going to put it up to power assistance 2, 3, power assistance 3 now on throttle. So it's quite a steep little hill just in throttle, no problem at all actually. But it's picking up speed quite readily, and this is actually very steep, this bit. Starting to slow down a bit at the top, but certainly not a problem. And there's the Cairngorms snow-clad in the distance. Okay, so I'm just taking my thumb off the throttle just now, and I'll slow down a little bit because it's quite rough here. What I do notice is, you know, with the really big tyres, they certainly felt a lot more stable on this really rough, rocky track. It's not bad, but it's certainly, I just got to be careful. And the brakes seem to lock up really well, but very quickly, so just have to be careful with that. So despite that not having rear suspension, you know, it's actually, so far it's been really comfy. So what I'm going to do is go up to 4 and 5, okay, and see how that is. Okay, picks up speed really quickly. Okay, so I'm literally just on throttle. Just now I'm having to brake. Okay, so yeah, it's very easy just to use on throttle without even pedaling. So on throttle. So I can't really use it in power assistance 5 on this terrain because it's too fast for the bumpy terrain. So I'll use it again on the road. Okay, I'm just going to come down into power assistance 2. So that's the front brake. Oh no, it's the rear brake. Okay, the rear brake is definitely really powerful. It locks up very easily, in fact too easily. The front brake's good, but I'm not sure if it's quite as powerful. As I say, it just needs bedded in a little bit. And it'll be a good test for the brakes. The motor's just really responsive, you know, it's continuous power, which is excellent. I'm just going to get down a little bit. I don't want to pick up too much speed. Down to power assistance 1. Because the tyres aren't as big, I've got to be quite careful here until I know how the brakes handle. Okay, this track's very loose here, so yeah, the brakes are good, a lot of control. So if I just apply the front brake almost fully, you know, yeah, it's good. Front brake. Yep. Okay, rear brake, it just looks. Okay, front brake. So yeah, plenty of control here. Right, okay, now for the uphill test, once I get down to the little bridge here. Okay, I'm going to try this just in throttle, and I'm going to put it up to power resistance 5, and just see what happens. I know with the MX03, about halfway up the slope, it basically almost came to a halt without any pedal assistance. We'll see how this does. So. Okay, so this is just throttle. Okay, I'm just having to pedal now, but it got up there a lot easier, and I'm not really having to pedal that hard, which is better or easier than MX03. In MX03 I was really working really hard on this. I'm still having to work a bit, but it's not far off. But it certainly seems to have more progressive power, and I think I was struggling initially with MX03 at this point, whereas I feel there's a lot more power coming through the Bafang motor. Okay, so pedaling here, I'm just going to go into throttle. I'm pedaling, I think. This bit's always a lot steeper than it looks, so I have to pedal here. So there's actually not that much difference between a 500 watt motor and a 1000 watt, though it just seems to have a lot more torque and keeps going. Consider I've not been out on a bike at all for about 6 months, so I'm going to put it throttle on it. Okay, we're going to go down the track here. I haven't been along this track since a good few months, so I'm not sure if there's any trees down. So I'm going to put the power assistance down because I don't want to suddenly shoot off. So on at 0, I'll put it down at 1. Now the brakes auto cut off, so it shouldn't really be a problem. It's shooting off with if I accidentally pedal, or I'll just try and pedal. Yep, yeah, it's fine. Okay, the track is actually drier than I was expecting here, so which is good. Probably be a quagmire later on, but. So I'm just going to change down gear. There's a tree down there, but I can get around it. Okay, it's quite a lot of control with the pedal assistance through the mud. Ugh. Now the bike's got really good rear mud guards, so hopefully it won't get covered in mud. So yeah, the brakes are really good. A lot of control.